Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNSFANS. Let's get to the news, so Browns fans, sit tight, because what's happening right now is nothing short of a seismic shakeup in Cleveland's football landscape. The 2025 NFL season, which started with so much hope, has taken a turn that no one expected, and it's more dramatic than most could have imagined. We're talking about the head coach, Kevin Stefanski, and the very real possibility that his tenure with the Browns might be coming to an abrupt end much sooner than anyone anticipated. Yes, you heard that right. The coach who led Cleveland to a playoff appearance just 2 years ago, who was awarded Coach of the Year, now finds himself under immense pressure, facing what could be a quick and perhaps decisive firing if things don't turn around fast. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Kevin Stefanski is a talented coach, there's no doubt about it. His track record shows that he can build a solid team and get results, but, and this is a big but in the NFL, winning is everything. Unfortunately for the Browns, the last couple of seasons have been anything but successful, especially last year. The 2024 campaign was a complete disaster, finishing with a 3-14 record, the worst in the AFC. And let's be honest, that's not just a bad season, it's a wake-up call. The injuries played a significant role, especially the season-ending Achilles tear to Deshaun Watson, which threw a huge wrench into Cleveland's plans. But even beyond the injuries, there were deeper issues that plagued this team all year long. Talking about that offense, which Stefanski oversees and calls plays for, it was simply abysmal. The Browns finished dead last in scoring, averaging just 15 points per game. That's almost impossible to win in the modern NFL. When you can't put points on the board, you're fighting an uphill battle from the start. The team struggled in third down efficiency, ranking last at just 29.5%, which means they couldn't sustain drives or keep the chains moving. Turnovers, they tied for the most in the league with 34, and they punted more than most teams, leading to a lot of frustration among fans and analysts alike. The red zone was a nightmare, and time of possession, which is so crucial, was also a major issue. Cleveland simply couldn't finish drives with points, and that's a recipe for losing season after season. And it's not just the offense. The defense, which had been a strength under Jim Schwartz, also regressed significantly. Injuries certainly didn't help, but the defense's struggles went beyond that. There were missed tackles, blown coverages, and a fatigue that set in as the season dragged on. The team simply wasn't the same unit that had been a top-tier defense in previous years. The combination of an offense that lacked rhythm and a defense that couldn't hold up in critical moments created a perfect storm of disappointment. In response to this mess, Cleveland's front office made some changes during the offseason. They fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey and offensive line coach Andy Dickerson, trying to address the issues on offense. But despite those moves, Stefanski was retained. That decision was likely influenced by his previous success, and the understanding that 2024 was heavily impacted by injuries, which were beyond his control. Still, the leash is very short now. The Browns' ownership, led by Jimmy Haslam, has never been known for patience, especially when the results are so poor. They are a franchise that expects to win, and they're not shy about making tough choices when that doesn't happen. Now, that's where things get even more intense. The 2025 schedule is brutal right from the start. Cleveland is facing one of the toughest 5-game stretches in the league. It all begins with Week 2, where the Browns head to Baltimore to face Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, a team that always plays Cleveland tough and is a perennial playoff contender. That game alone is a huge test. Then in Week 3, they host the Green Bay Packers, with Jordan Love continuing to develop into a promising quarterback. The Packers are a team on the rise, and facing them at home will be no easy task. Moving into Week 4, the Browns hit the road again to face the Detroit Lions, a high-powered offensive team that reached the NFC Championship last year. The Lions are loaded with talent, and their offense can put up points in bunches. And to top it off, Week 5 takes Cleveland across the pond to London to play the Minnesota Vikings, adding travel fatigue and a different kind of pressure. If the Browns stumble early, say starting 1-4 or even 0-5, the pressure on Stefanski to be shown the door will become overwhelming. With the fan base already frustrated after last year's nightmare, and with the upcoming schedule featuring so many tough opponents, the likelihood of a quick trigger is high. The Browns' front office might see an early season firing as a way to reset the tone, energize the team, and perhaps start a coaching search for someone new who can bring a fresh perspective. The truth is, Cleveland's management has little patience for prolonged struggles, especially with their eyes on a long-term rebuild that can lead to a legitimate Super Bowl contention. What's also important to consider is the long-term picture. Deshaun Watson's contract has been a point of contention, and the team's long-term strategy hangs in the balance. If the season doesn't improve quickly, the ownership might decide that a coaching change is necessary not just to salvage 2025, but to set a new foundation for the future. The team's recent history shows that they aren't afraid to make bold moves if they believe it's the best course of action. So, Browns fans, what does all this mean? It's a season of uncertainty, of high stakes, and of a potential coaching shakeup. Kevin Stefanski, who once brought hope and stability, now finds himself on the brink. The start of the season has been rocky. After 2 games, they're 0-2, and with the upcoming schedule, things could get even more challenging. The fans are hungry for wins, and they want to see their team compete at the highest level. If Cleveland falters early, the panic might set in, and a coaching change could be on the horizon. It's a critical moment for the franchise, and every game counts. But beyond the immediate concerns, there's a bigger story here about the direction of the Browns. Are they going to stick with Stefanski and hope for a turnaround? Or will they make a bold move early in the season to try to shift the momentum? Whatever happens, one thing is clear: the pressure is mounting, and Cleveland's future hinges on how they respond to this adversity. The team has talent, the fan base is passionate, and the city is hungry for success. This season could define the next chapter of Cleveland Browns football, and we're all watching closely. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. This is a season full of drama, hope, and big decisions, and we're right here with you, covering every twist and turn. Thanks for sticking with us, and as always, go Browns.